What's up, guys? So I'm going to be doing a discussion, talk, review, and predictions video on all the chapters of Fairy Tail up until the latest chapter that was just released, which is 365. Um, if you guys have been watching my previous videos, you know how it works. Spoiler alert. Um, I'm going to do very little summary, so I'm assuming you guys have read it. And let's just get started. So just a quick overview. Um, I advise you watch my previous videos on Fairy Tail to explain certain things, but you don't have to. Um, Basically, long story short, just to summarize again, um, I was behind because of school, as I warned, so I couldn't do the week by week chapter review, and so I caught up on the chapters I missed out on. The problem is, well, not really a problem. Um, I had an urge to do like a review on each chapter because let it be told, it was actually pretty good. If you watch my latest videos on Fairy Tail, I was like, oh, I'm kind of sick of this stuff because there's no plot, it's too simple. And I gotta be honest, after that, it was really good. In fact, the last 5 chapters I read from 360 onwards, really good. I mean, I was exceptionally surprised about all this. Honestly, I mean, the plot has gotten really decent. I'm not completely convinced, but honestly, like, I was at a point of dropping it because of the simple plot and what had happened in 355, which was an entire chapter of nothing, like no plot yet again. And it was just like them in a bath for like most of the chapter, and it was just them like half naked and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that, except it gets old. Okay, that sort of stuff gets old for me. Plus, you don't ever see anything. I mean, it's just everything's censored out anyways, so that gets really old. And when they do it so consistently for a long period of time, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but it gets old pretty quickly. And like I've mentioned before, I mean, everything's censored anyways. Um, More so than that, the arc before it, like, I have to be honest with you, I didn't like it because, I mean, it was very simple. I mean, they go to this giant village that's frozen solid, they defeat the bad guy. There's some characters that aren't really that interesting personality wise, they're just minor characters and minor villains. They defeat them, la di da di da. It takes like 50 chapters to do it, and then they return home. I was a little sick of it. I am glad how it has turned around. So I can go on for hours on this. I'm not going to. I'm trying really hard to keep it short, so this video will only last like 40 minutes. You know how long I do my videos. First things first, the Demon Slayer. That dude, who's part of Tartarus, I think. I don't think he's bad. I mean, honestly, like, he just doesn't seem like a bad guy. Ever since he was introduced and you saw his face, he was almost always depicted as a good guy. Or maybe, I don't know if it's just because how he's drawn, but I'm looking at one panel of him during the final chapter, and he's also drawn in like a good light, like very like a good guy who's pretending to be evil. Like, he's not drawn in like a evil way. So I really do feel like he may be some undercover sort of person. I mean, look at his name, Ice Demon Slayer Magic. Well, that's not his name, that's his technique, but it's to slay demons. And aren't they all demons? Why would he have Demon Slayer magic if he's a demon himself? Is he slaying himself? Doesn't make sense. So I think he's like an undercover agent sort of thing. That's just my wild prediction. Next is the leader of Tartaros. Like, it's very obvious this girl's the leader. She wears this weird mask. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it's a mask of some sort. Mask slash helmet. Why? Because the eye holes and the mouth hole are large enough that you can see skin underneath. It's not like just covering her eyes and mouth. It's wide. It's very wide. Like I'm looking at the panel right now. You can see her face underneath. So that could mean that she's human underneath. And it's funny because the first time she was introduced, she walked up to the ice dragon slayer, demon slayer guy, and she said something like, "I can't believe you're in your human form." She herself seems to be in a human form, covered by equipment. I honestly really like her as a character because, I mean, it reminds me of, I would say Frieza in a way. Uh, but she's female, and I mean, I could do without the wings. I think she has like wings on her back. It's kind of weird, but she's obviously the leader, and she's torturing Urza. What I do like about this in the last few chapters is the fact that there is a solid plot. It's actually pretty cool because it's not that, it's the complete opposite of the stuff I was complaining about. The simpleton plot, the sort of childish sort of theme where they're scared to kill anyone, and that has been proven wrong tremendously. And there's a lot of threat and danger. They can still amp it up to another level, but in the latest few chapters, there's been threat of death. People have been dying left and right. Important people, ex-council members, as well as hundreds of town citizens in various cities and towns being killed from Tartarus, which was just a shock to me because that was what I was complaining about. I was like, fairy tale, it's always la-di-da. Everyone survives, everyone's happy, there's never any threat. So far, fairly decent. It can still be vamped up to another level. I'm very interested in this whole new development because there's actually meat to it. Tartarus, they have this thing where they can convert those who are worthy into a demon form. I'm very interested to see where that will go. This whole thing with Jalal and Urza, I don't like it. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think it's because I hate it when I hate Urza to be so proper and just have a crush on just Jalal. I mean, I don't know. I just don't like it. I'd rather her just be a free spirit. It's just too prim and proper. But the thing is, Jalal is not. She doesn't know where Jalal is, and it seems like Jalal has gotten a power boost because we know he wasn't that strong. He lost to Natsu before, back when Natsu was weak. So Jalal's gotten a power boost. He's taking on the Eurasian Sace, minus their leader. By the way, it doesn't seem like they killed their leader. He was just wounded and knocked out, which I think is a cop-out. But they escaped jail in this chapter. Well, they were let free this chapter from jail. And by doing so, their leader went with them. He was just knocked out. The Eurasian Sace, I think they have been depicted in a stronger power level as well. Why? Because before, they were kind of, they were weak. They were beaten by Natsu in his weaker form. Natsu's obviously a lot stronger now after all the arcs that he's been through. But Eurasian Sace and Jalal have both powered up tremendously. Jalal seems to be able to take on all these dudes. Laxus is a lot stronger too. Everyone's a lot stronger, which I really like. That brings me to this ex-chancellor / counselor who has sold out all his comrades for what seems to be money. Why he needs this money when he has this big house and all this stuff, we don't know. We do know that he's going to get a lot of money. I think it's the stupidest, most naive thing, which is why I don't like about this. The author again is playing into this sort of naive plot thing. Like, that's a problem. I don't think it's realistic. This guy it's just too naive for it to be realistic. Does this ex-chancellor really think that this is going to happen? That he's just going to get his money and then be able to leave la-di-da. No, these Tartarus members have been proven to be very deceptive and cruel. Most likely, he won't get any money that's promised to him, but he'll just be tricked at the end of the day. However, the last panel, Natsu comes in, throws a right hook or left hook, whatever, onto this guy. His teeth get knocked out. I really like that. So that's my overall this review of the last few chapters up until 365. Let me know your thoughts below. I'm really interested to see where this goes, because this is a much meatier plot than what came before. I really thought the giant town arc, that mini arc that came right before this, had a lot of potential. Maybe the giants were could have been evil or mean or powerful, and they would have fought with Natsu, or that would have brought them over to something else. But it was just a lead on. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing. I, for one, advise you to watch my previous video if you guys haven't, on the whole thing about Fairy Tail being too perverted and whether I should drop the manga. Why? Because I talk about a lot of key points regarding the whole manga as a whole, not just the last 30 chapters or so. And that was very recent as well. And my whole thing about that, again, I think it's all down to the fact that it's kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong. Initially, when I got into Fairy Tail, it was nice. The drawings and the naked but censored girls and so forth. But I mean, I don't know. I just think it's too much. It's too drawn out. You know, chapters worth of this. I mean, remember that whole mini arc during the Coliseum slash fairy Wizards tournament in the Coliseum arc. That whole arc, mini arc, where they went to the water park and so forth. It was just a little bit too much. But I guess you could say complaining about it is also wasting time. So I'm going to cut it short. I already did like 20 minutes of complaining about that in my other video. So take a look at that. And in my next video, I'm going to briefly talk about Hunter x Hunter and another manga, D. Gray Man, which I've caught up with a long time ago. And I want to talk about that. So if you like that sort of stuff, stay tuned.